Boy, if you're just gonna have planes the whole time.
It's not my fault.
Uh-huh. Hi, everybody. I assume we're streaming by now.
Are we?
I don't know. We're gonna
Go
find
check.
out.
I don't know.
What's
Oh
going
boy.
on? I think we are. Fantastic. We are streaming. What's going on, everybody? Sorry we're a few minutes late. I'm Scott, and we just passed 300,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel. You guys are seriously amazing. I love all of you. You're my favorite wonderful nerds. And I'm joined, I'm not alone here today. You can probably see that already. I'm not alone, guys. I'm joined
It's a miracle.
by... Go ahead and introduce yourself. You can introduce yourself better than I can.
Okay. Hi, I'm Auram or Dylan. I go by Auram most places on the internet, so that's probably what you know me by. I'm the primary editor for NerdSync, and I've hosted a couple times on the channel. So yeah, that's what you know me from.
That's right. And we don't really have a plan of attack for this. I just figured I want to celebrate in some capacity, and I want to just have maybe a Q&A of some kind. So go ahead and ask some questions in the chat down there. We'll try to answer them. I want to, as everyone's getting started on there, I want to say that in terms of continuity, I'm technically still in Dimension X.
I was just gonna ask.
Yeah, okay, good.
You're
I just
all
want to make
right?
that clear. I found a spot where they have allowed me to live stream this event. I explained to them it was a momentous occasion. They were like, all right, fine, you can have your moment. And so they've graciously given me a place to live stream. The Wi-Fi might not be the best, so blame that on Dimension X and all of their inhabitants for not having a great router. But I think next week I'm still gonna be trapped in Dimension X. We're gonna have somebody fill in for me anyway. So just wanted to get that out of the way. Let's see if we got any questions. You can also hit us up on Twitter. Dylan's gonna be taking care of all the Twitter stuff. Should we have a hashtag of some kind? I probably should
That
have
would.
made one up.
How about NerdSync 300 or something?
Yeah, NerdSync 3 hashtag NerdSync 300. And Dylan will keep track of those, and we'll get you, because sometimes the YouTube chat can be a little bit much, a little too hectic, especially because I can't read them. They're going by so fast. Okay, here's a really good timely one. Shane Kelter asked, what's my opinion on Rebirth? So obviously spoilers for Rebirth, DC Rebirth. You've read it, right, Dylan?
Yeah, I read it yesterday.
What did you think of it?
It was a really pretty story. I thought it was very much a love letter to like the DC universe, but
Sure.
as someone who isn't like super well versed in DC, I don't feel like I got the full like impact of the issue that like people who have been reading DC forever would have, but
Sure.
I thought it was a good
Yeah,
story.
because you're more of a Marvel fanboy.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real. But no, I thought it was great. I had the ending bit spoiled for me on Twitter like day of by so many different people, which I won't say because I'm not that evil. I think. I hope. But no, I really liked it. I thought it was great. I think it's gonna open up a really interesting story that I can't wait to see. I haven't read too many other of like the Rebirth issues. Have many of them come out yet from other?
I
other
think
characters?
I think Batman, Green Arrow, Green Lanterns, and something else are out so far. I've only read Batman.
Yeah, I
I
think
wasn't
I've
able
read
to track
Batman.
down the rest.
Fair enough. All right. Let's see. Let's get some other comments
I've
going.
got
Yeah.
on Twitter, on like kind of the flip side of Rebirth, Alexander Laird asks, "What did you think of Civil War 2 so far?"
Yeah. No, I really like it. I like it a lot.
I
Do you disagree?
No, I read it earlier, and honestly, it is a return to Marvel events to me.
Yeah.
I 100% love it, and I don't care admitting that I cried during it. And it is one of the first comics in a while that's made me cry, and I just so many things. I don't know. I love it.
No,
It's a good
dude.
event so
It's
far.
real good. Like, people have been asking me whose side I'm on, Iron Man or Captain Marvel, and I'm like, I feel like they've
Oh,
only really pitched Iron Man's side right now. Like they
yeah.
really hit his side hard, and I really
Hmm.
need to find, because like there's a panel in the first issue where they're arguing back and forth, and um, I think it was Tony was like, "Well, would you like to know the future?" Like he was making this big whole spiel. It's like, and then Captain Marvel just comes like returns with, "Well, it depends." And then
Yeah.
Tony's like, "Depends
It's
on
like
what?"
what?
And then they just cut to something else. So I feel like I really need a second issue to flesh out Captain Marvel's side a little
Yeah.
bit more. But man, the way they set it up, it's brilliant, and I love
So
it.
good.
I'm not a big fan of comic book events. Like I've said that before, and normally I try to avoid them or just kind of like read summaries later. But man, I'm excited about this. Probably more than I'm excited about Rebirth, if I'm being honest. But I don't know. Maybe.
Same.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. I could talk hours about it, even though it's like, well, technically it's like 3 issues in if we count the zero issue and the free comic book day issue,
Hmm.
but just this first issue, I don't. It was probably like slightly oversized, but so much happened in it, and it just felt like because. So the era from Avengers Disassembled to Avengers versus X-Men
Hmm.
is what I call the classic but not classic Age of Marvel. And that's basically just because all of those events kind of led one into another and just felt like one cohesive event. And then Marvel Now happened and they had their own events. And then Secret Wars happened. And ever since then, we haven't really had a return to those types of storytelling events.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, and I mean, it goes back to something that I talked about. Like, I loved the first Civil War event too, and the reason I liked it is because it wasn't this big cosmic world-ending, universe-colliding event. It was like just
mhm.
superheroes fighting over ideals, and that seems to be brought back. I mean, obviously Thanos makes an appearance, but it's like he's not the main villain of any sort of. He's just kind of
Yeah.
he was just there as a catalyst to set up the rest of the event. So I'm
I,
hoping that it continues that route.
I love that too because it just shows how big of an issue this or issue or non-issue that Ulysses poses
Hmm.
because Thanos coming down could if they didn't predict it have been an event in and of itself, Infinity,
Yeah,
and it was stopped because of that. So who knows? But I mean there
Ulysses
are
could be
consequences
the
obviously,
he
but
could be the event ender in some place.
exactly.
Like if Marvel's like, man, we got to do this big event, and then Ulysses like just kind of meta is like, you know what? No, we're just gonna stop it before it ever happens because that's not gonna go over too well.
Yeah.
To kind of switch topics, I want to give it. I want to give some props to. Oh no, I lost it. Somebody
Oh
Tanner.
no.
Yeah, somebody Tanner. A lot of people are asking who my favorite superheroes are, and uh, Tanner person. I'm sorry, I lost your comment. They very aggressively in all caps were like, yeah, so you love Spider Woman. But they very aggressively in all caps were like, Scott's favorite heroes are Spider Man and Aquaman. And I'm like, yes, all right, good. Let's get that all out of the way. I love both of those characters. But yeah, you have a love for Spider Woman.
Yes, I
Mm-hmm.
do.
Yeah, and I think we'll do because we joked in what was it? One of the X-Men videos about like doing the Wolverine video about doing
Mhm.
possibly doing a real origins of Spider-Woman, and I was like, I'm sure Auram would like to do that one, and you were like, yes,
Yes.
please.
I would love to do that. That
I'm
would be
surprised you haven't done that one already.
I made a video
Hmm.
a year ago, probably over a year ago, where I talked about all the Spider Women, all the people who've held Spider Woman's mantle in 616,
Hmm.
and I briefly touched on her like real origin there. But I mean, that's the reason that video existed because I found that real origin. I was like, this isn't enough to substantiate 5 minutes,
Yeah,
but
it's
I
pretty
can
good
make
though.
something up around it.
For sure. Prime Centulo asks. I'm gonna be mispronouncing a ton of names, but they ask a really great question. So if you guys don't know this, if it wasn't obvious enough already, I'm a huge fan of musicals. I've been listening to Hamilton basically nonstop, which I guess it's kind of a joke, but you got it.
How dare
So
you?
that was unintentional. But they ask, I love comics and I love musicals, but every time they come together, they suck. How do you make a good comic book musical? I will say there is a good comic book musical. It's called Holy Musical Batman, and it's glorious. You should watch it. It's like 90 minutes or long, or at least, I don't know, it might be longer than that. It might not be appropriate for children, but it's really funny, really good. Have you seen that at all?
I've heard of it. I
Yeah.
don't think I've seen it though.
It's
I thought for a second, you were gonna say, and it's called Your Fellow Avenger. It's
yeah.
like who?
I almost did a little bit of self promotion there,
Self
guys.
promotion there. But if you haven't seen Your Fellow Avenger, go watch it.
Go watch it. Yeah.
Real proud of it.
Yeah, I think you're probably more proud of it than I am, and I was.
I love that video. I had a lot of fun with
Oh,
it.
it was so much fun. Let's see. Any more questions on Twitter or nah?
Let's see. Oh, well, Scout, the fake nerd, was wondering why you moved to Texas or are in the
In
process
the
of moving to
process, yeah.
Texas.
Let me do a quick little moving update for everybody. I was supposed to be I was supposed to be moved in a month ago, and I'm still at my old place. So kind of preemptively jumped the gun on that one. But I'm working on it. We're still trying to get a place, and hopefully that should be taken care of within the next few weeks. Like I made a deadline for myself where I absolutely need to be moved in by a certain date. So at least 2 more weeks at the most, hopefully. But the reason I moved is because, and this is kind of a weird story. Like when I started doing NerdSync stuff. Oh boy, your camera just got crazy bad. That's fine. It's fixing itself. When I started doing NerdSync stuff, probably before I started doing NerdSync stuff, I had a friend, Nick, who has been on some NerdSync stuff before in the very far past, and he is or was obsessed with Rooster Teeth, and I think they're stationed in Texas. I could be wrong about that, but he did.
Yeah, they're in Austin.
Okay, yeah. So he planted this seed in my head, this idea of like, well, if we ever want to do like YouTube stuff, we gotta move down there because he wanted an internship or something, and he was just like, yeah, it's better than LA. LA's too hectic, blah blah blah. It was like he had a wife, and like Texas was the compromise of what they landed on, and for some reason it always stuck with me, and I was like, yeah. Texas sounds like a good place. I've got some family in Texas as well. Maybe I could move there. And then it just kind of, as I kept going forward with NerdSync stuff and YouTube stuff, I was like, well, I guess the ultimate goal is to move to Texas. And then it just so happened that I kept meeting other YouTubers who were from Texas as well, like yourself and Drake and Ricky and Eris from Variant. So it just made it even more clear that, all right, Texas seems like the place where I need to be. So hopefully I'll make it there in the next few weeks. Fingers crossed.
It'll happen, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I've gotten a couple people on Twitter asking when we're gonna do a Scooby-Doo video.
Oh, okay. I haven't yet. I bought it, but I haven't yet read the new Scooby-Doo comic book. Have you read that yet?
Mm-mm.
No.
I haven't.
Okay. I heard Chris read it, and he said he loved it. So I'm hoping I'll probably read it immediately after this, and I hope that it sparks something where we can do a Scooby-Doo video.
Yeah.
For people who don't understand why they're asking specifically for a Scooby-Doo video, what video were we collabing on? That was this.
It was.
Spider-Man?
I don't remember if it was the first one or the second one.
No, it wasn't the first one because the first one I had the Loki mug and I like poked it in my eye. It was the second one. What was that one?
It was a Spider-Man brain damage.
Yeah.
And we talked about whether or not Spider-Man has brain damage, and Scott made on my show, the show with issues. Every time I say next time at the end of the video, we'll do something ridiculous, and anytime I have a guest on it, I make them do it because I'm a terrible person. So Scott said that next time we'll do a Scooby-Doo video. We won't. I think he said we won't, but you'll always want us to.
Right.
So.
And we still
people have been
done
asking
that.
ever
Yeah.
since. Exactly.
And we'll do it eventually. It's not on the calendar, but the calendar's pretty flexible with me with a lot of stuff. So if I read the comic,
since
yeah,
since like So you sat down and planned out like the rest of the year a couple
Mhm.
weeks ago, and it's changed so much
Yeah,
since then already.
I
So
sat
it's
down.
definitely flexible.
I planned out like through November, I think, and then I was like, that's probably enough for now. And it took me hours to like get it all sorted out. Like, I want to do a science video here, then maybe a philosophy one here, then I want to do this like theory type of thing, blah blah blah. And I like planned it out perfectly, and then immediately got derailed.
Captain
Yeah, got derailed by Captain America and all sorts of like me moving. Ninja Turtles. We're doing a Ninja Turtles video in a couple weeks because I've never really done one. I did a Daredevil Ninja Turtles one, but I've never done a standalone Ninja Turtles video, and I really want to. So even that got added in. We had some people who wanted to fill in for videos while I'm moving, so we're working that into the. It just like immediately got destructured, and I'm trying desperately to hold it all together and have it make a little bit of sense. And hopefully you'll like some of the videos that we have coming up in the next few weeks. That's all I'll say about that.
I saw Lazar in chat said cabinet battle between Tony Stark and Carol Danvers.
Oh, yes. That would be so good. I have to tell
That'd be
you,
really fun.
after we did that, your fellow Avenger video, Ricky and I have been tweeting each other like ideas for more Hamilton things, and I would say let's not even limit it to Hamilton. I would love to just expand into like more musical superhero stuff, because just like Prime sent person who commented earlier. Like those are two of my biggest interests are musicals and comic books. I almost forgot comic books on a comic book channel. So there you go. That should tell you a little bit of something.
Sammy just said that she'd be Carol, so we have
Yes.
that. And hi, plane.
Hi, plane.
I live next to an airport.
Seems like everybody does.
It's true.
Yeah. Dario Melandra asks if I liked X-Men Apocalypse. So we haven't recorded an X-Men Apocalypse podcast yet because Bryce has been busy. I don't even know if he's seen it yet. We tried to get a couple other people on to fill his spot, but it's just I've been so busy. So I'll give you like a really quick, like 30 seconds of my review of X-Men Apocalypse. I did a whole Twitter rant about it when I saw it, by the way. So you can probably go back in time and check that out. But no, I thought the movie was basic for a movie called X-Men Apocalypse. It did feel like it was two movies, one of the X-Men and one of Apocalypse. And I liked the X-Men stuff more than the Apocalypse stuff. Anytime they were at the X-Mansion, it was just fun, like kind of having all the characters hang out, maybe use their powers, blah blah blah, just character development. All of that was beautiful. It was great. I loved it. When it got to the Apocalypse stuff, I was kind of like I zoned out a little bit. I didn't really care. What did you think of the movie? Have you seen it? I assume. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it. I did a full review of it
Oh,
on my
that's right.
channel.
Yeah. I
But
watch your stuff.
you've said that you don't watch the reviews, which I'm fine with. But I really enjoyed it. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be because people, like critics and stuff, were destroying it. So I was going into it with pretty much no expectations, but came out of it pleasantly surprised. And I do agree that it did feel like two different movies, and especially like the first half of it felt like lots of things happening at once with no like cohesion.
Yeah,
But
I felt like there was a good 20 minutes that were just an amazing Magneto film. Like, you could have cut that out.
that too.
You could have cut it out, had it be like a solo short film about Magneto, and I was like, it's so beautiful. It's one of the only moments in like a comic book movie out of all of the comic book movies I've seen where I was on the verge of tears. I was like, oh man, this guy.
It brought me there.
Yeah,
I was full there.
I was this close, and then I was watching it with my brother in theater, and then like he turned over to me and like made some sort of lame joke, and it caught me off guard, and I was like, what? Now I'm out of the movie. Dang it! But it was if he didn't interrupt, I would have been bawling for sure.
This is gonna sound so sad, but anytime a new movie that I really want to watch comes out, I make it a goal to go see it by myself first because I don't want anyone to ruin it for me. So I find like the most secluded part of the theater and just sit there and watch.
Mm-hmm. See,
that's my goal.
Now, let me ask you a question. So I have very specific preferences when it comes to watching movies. I like to be in a very specific row in a very specific seat, and I like to get there early because if I'm on like the edge of an aisle, if I'm at like the back or like the way front, then it makes it even harder for me to enjoy a movie. Or are you like that, or are you just kind of like, I don't know, put me wherever?
As long as I'm not like straight up towards the front, and even then I'll probably be fine. I won't cry about it, but I'm pretty much fine. I prefer being in the way back, which I know some people don't like as much, but
Mm,
I don't know. It kind of eliminates people behind you being annoying, and then you just have the people in front of you possibly being annoying, but that's harder for them to get in the way. But plus,
sure.
pretty much every theater in Texas, at least around me, has reserved seating, so
See, that's
I
something
always
that I
buy like
just
days early.
yeah, that's something I just recently discovered because I've never been around a theater that had reserved seating until very recently, until the place where I'm in right now. And
Yeah.
it has been the most amazing thing to me because as a person who's very picky and very particular about where they want to sit in a theater, that has been
Hmm.
like even on Star Wars opening night, I had no plans on going, and then I was like, you know what? I don't want anything to be spoiled for me. I should go right now, and I bought tickets like a couple hours before the showing, and I still got to the seats that I wanted. It was great. And I don't know. I watched Iron Man 3, which was already not one of my favorite movies. And I watched that on a giant screen where we were late. I was watching it with Bryce, and we arrived late, and we were all the way, like, really close to the front, all the way on the very edge of the aisle. So it was like this big giant screen, and I'm like watching it from an angle. And
Oh no.
from the very beginning, I hated it. I was like, well, I'm already grumpy. This is not
Yeah.
gonna help me like this movie anymore. And then I walked
Yeah,
out
I
of it just
watched.
being really upset.
I think I watched Godzilla for the first time in IMAX in the very front row,
Hmm.
and I had no say in it because I went with a friend and their family, or his family, and I just they bought my ticket for me, so I wasn't gonna complain. But we had to sit in the very front, and I had to like my neck hurt afterwards because it was an IMAX screen too, so it was enormous.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't enjoy this.
Now, are you like so when Chris we're like derailed onto movies right now, but this is interesting to me anyway. When now Chris always says that he has to watch always in IMAX, always in 3D. Do you have anything like that, or are you just kind of like, just watch a movie?
Uh, I don't like 3D at all because, and 3D is fine.
Mm.
My only like actual complaint about 3D itself is I think it makes the movies darker for some reason. Um,
Yeah, no, it definitely does. Yeah.
yeah, and but like the stupid complaint that I always have about it is because I have to wear two pairs of glasses if I go see a 3D movie, and I hate it.
That is
But
true.
I tried once I tried cutting out the lenses of 3D glasses and putting them over my glasses as if it's one of those like flip sunglasses things that they
Oh,
have. I
okay, I
tried doing
gotcha.
that, but
Yeah.
didn't work out too well.
No.
So I haven't seen a 3D movie in forever. The only time I'll see one is if everything else is sold out and I have to go to it. But
Yeah. It's a last resort for me, really.
pr-
Yeah.
pretty much.
Kylo Ren, I assume the real Kylo Ren,
Oh man.
yeah, asked, what do you think of Brie Larson playing is it possibly playing Carol Danvers, or has she been cast as Carol Danvers?
She hasn't been cast. She's like the front runner,
Okay.
which people were saying like uh I forget the first name, but something Lerman was like the front runner for Spider-Man a
Oh,
year
yeah.
ago. So it's up in the air, but
Yeah,
she's
it's
like
nothing official.
she's the most like tangible casting that we've gotten from Marvel so far.
Sure.
So
And all right, we'll dive into like our thoughts right now. So I think so I'm torn because I love Brie Larson. My favorite movie of all time is Scott Pilgrim versus the World. She plays Envy. She's great. And yeah, and
I forgot. I was like, where do I know her from?
yeah, and she's
That's
also in Community as well,
right.
for a few episodes anyway, and a bunch of other stuff that I really like. So I like her. I like her as an actress, and I just I don't know if I like see her as Carol Danvers, but I mean, you agree with
Yeah,
that?
I don't the way that I read the way that I read Carol in the comics,
Mhm.
and I feel like most people do. Like I always give voices to characters. I feel like most people do, but I always give Captain Marvel Jennifer Hale's voice, like the very gruff
Oh,
voice that she has,
sure.
and I can't picture like so
Like
I
a
saw
femme
on
shep voice type of
yeah,
thing.
exactly. It's
Yeah.
her voice,
Yeah.
Femchep's voice. And I can't put that together with Brie Larson in my head. And I saw like a Photoshop of her in like the current Captain Marvel outfit,
Hmm.
and it's just she had long hair in it, and just it didn't mesh well for me. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure it's fine. Like Marvel is amazing with their casting. So
Right. And again, this is not official. This is
yeah,
just.
exactly. It's not official, but anyone that they choose, I'm sure will be fine. Like Tom Holland is like he's from the UK, right? And
Mhm.
he's playing Spider-Man, who's from Queens. So
And
they
he's so good, and he's
they're
amazing.
good. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
amazing. They're good. No pun intended. They're
Yeah.
gonna get someone who's gonna be great in the role. So I have all
Absolutely.
my faith in.
Yeah. Oh, somebody said that Jennifer Hale did voice Carol Danvers in Earth's
Did
Mightiest
she?
Heroes. Yeah.
Oh, okay, well that's
Well, there you
probably
go.
one of the
You're
reasons too.
validated there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure I saw. I'm sure that was like a subconscious thing, but
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, I did watch Earth Mightiest Heroes, so that's probably why.
There you go. Anything on Twitter as I look through the chat some more?
Let's see. Somebody, Rodrigo Arellano, maybe said, asks us what do we think about the Snyder and Capullo Batman run, since that's kind of over now.
Yeah. Okay. So I before because Rebirth, the Batman Rebirth came out very recently, and I was very behind on the New 52 Batman. I was like 10 issues behind. So I sat down one night and I read through that, but I did watch your review of I think issue number 52, and I think you said to skip issue 52 if you want it to end on like a
Yeah,
good note, like just end on 51. So that's what I did. I stopped with issue 51, and I haven't read issue 52.
yeah, just 52 is, and this kind of says something about the comic. I've honestly forgot what happens in that book. So I think there's something with Alfred. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. But yeah, 51 is, and it's also because I don't think Snyder wrote 52. I think it was the
Mm-hmm.
like backup writer that they have who's writing Detective Comics now.
Sure.
Um, and it just it's not a like 51 is a very beautiful conclusion to the Snyder Capullo run, and that's uh, I'm slightly biased, like not really, but kind of because the Snyder Capullo Batman run is the only DC book that I have read in full.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Other than like I read 4 issues of Convergence, which
Yeah.
it's not the best introduction to
No.
DC, but
No.
um, yeah. So
But no,
I
I
love that.
I really love it a lot. I was
Mhm.
like near the end with all the with um Bloom was his name, the
Yes.
villain. So I honestly thought he was gonna be like 1 or 2 issues, like just kind of,
Yeah.
oh, this is like one of your first villains to fight up against Jim Gordon Batman, and then they just kept dragging it out more and more and more and more, and so I guess like he's great, he's terrifying. I just felt like I don't know. I felt like the story was stretched out a little bit near the end for me. Like
Yeah.
they almost like they had to reach that like 52 issues, and so they were just kind of
Yeah.
stretching it out. But no,
And
I
that's
mean I
what
really
that's
liked it. Mhm.
that's kind of what I said in my review of the
Oh yeah,
52nd issue was just like I felt like they just really wanted that 52nd issue and nobody gave the memo to Snyder because they were just like, oh well, he's done, so get the other guy to write the last one so
yeah.
we could just say we could finally have that 52nd issue because we
Yeah,
really love that number.
that's right, we do. Um, Connor Baker comments about the Green Arrow Rebirth. Have you read that?
Nope,
It's so good.
really.
It's real good. Like it's one of the most charming comics I've ever read. Absolutely go read it. Highly recommend it. Um,
So
yeah.
I'm guessing that somebody's name who starts with F doesn't appear in it at all.
No, doesn't
Okay,
appear. There's no
good.
Olicity in this comic.
So I heard that her and Diggle were in like the last run for a certain part, so
I
I'm
gave
glad
up
they
on
didn't
that. Yeah.
carry that over.
I gave up on it, but seriously though, if you were curious about it, if you were like, I don't know if I should pick it up, absolutely pick it up. It's super
Yeah,
good, and it's just
I
that one Rebirth issue too.
I forgot that anything other than Batman Rebirth came out on Wednesday. So yesterday, I was running around trying to get some comics that I missed from Wednesday, and I went to 4 stores, and none of them had Green Lanterns or Green
Oh,
Arrow Rebirth. So, and I think I was trying to get the most recent issue of Spider-Man too. So I'm just gonna get those digitally and read them.
yeah,
But
definitely.
yeah, hopefully I'm trying not to read too many DC books because I already spend way too much money on Marvel books.
Hmm.
Um, so I don't want to. I mean, it is good though that DC's books are cheaper, a lot cheaper. So that will help. But yeah,
Absolutely. Let's see. Trying to find some more stuff.
somebody on Twitter, I forget who. Oh yeah, it was Fake Nerd Scout again. Asked if we will ever do vlogs, which we've both toyed with in the past.
Yeah. Like I have my own personal channel that's just Scott
Mm.
Niswander. That I used to update regularly, and now I haven't touched it like probably at all this year. I think. I don't know. It's been a while, but
I don't know.
I mean, I'd like to do more vlogging. The problem is, I just don't have much to say. Like,
Yeah.
all of my creativity comes out in the videos every week, and then I just don't want to do anything else anymore. Like, it's just all of my mental energy goes into making the videos, and then all I want to do is like watch Netflix, or now I'm playing video games for the first time in forever. Frozen.
Sorry.
Yeah. No,
Uh,
no, I've been having fun though. Playing
Good.
some Overwatch, playing some all. I've been playing. I've been trying to catch up too. So like, I'm a huge South Park fan. If you didn't know, I don't know why
Stick of
you would.
Truth.
Yeah. So I bought Stick of Truth the other day, and it's so much
Nice.
fun. So I'm having a blast. But boy, it sucks all of my productivity out of the way. I don't think I did a single thing yesterday.
Yeah, I'm luckily, maybe not so luckily. I don't know. I'm getting into a place with Overwatch specifically where it's just I'm kind of done feverishly playing it. I'm still playing it pretty much every day, but playing it less and less.
Sure.
Like I played like maybe an hour or two today, but that's probably all I'm gonna do.
See, that's about what I normally do. Like sometimes
Yeah.
I'll just play for like 2 or 3 matches.
I have a problem.
What level are you at currently?
69, I
Good
think.
lord. I'm at like 25 maybe.
Yep.
Oh
I
man.
think my playtime right now is like 64 hours or something.
Jeez.
So I've played. It's okay. I know people who are like over 100. So
I didn't even know if that was possible.
the max level is like 2,500.
Okay.
This isn't an overall.
Anybody there yet?
I hope not. Good God.
Minecraft Lego Productions asks what we think about the Flash finale, and I kind of went on a little spiel about that. Like I tried to keep it very spoiler free, but man, I loved it. It was real good.
I was surprised because like I'm sure this is a very unpopular opinion, but there's a podcast that I watch that's, well, I say watch, but it is kind of, I don't know. Anyway, it's they basically just talk about the superhero shows, and they were talking about the Flash finale, and they hated it, and I was like, what?
Really?
I just and I don't know. I was just confused because after seeing that, I was like, does the general public not like the Flash finale?
Let us know in the chat what you thought about the Flash finale, because I honestly thought it was great. I thought, I know a lot of people jumped the gun this season and were like, man, they screwed up Jay Garrick. What a terrible thing that they did. I hate all of these Flash writers for what they did to the character. And then at the very last second, they flipped it around. They're like, oh no, that's not the real Jay Garrick. This is the real Jay Garrick.
Exactly.
And it was beautiful. Oh, so good.
I loved it. Everything. I don't know. It's just that's something that I will do a video about eventually. Is when it's kind of topical too right now. Is when people just get so upset about a specific thing in a comic, that just happened suddenly, even though we don't know where it's going or how far it's going to go. Just calm
Captain America.
I was trying to dance around it. Just calm down.
Just calm down, everybody. It's
Which
fine.
Flash finale with Rebirth and everything that's going on there with Captain America, just all this stuff. Comics are cyclical. Things happen, and then maybe they don't happen, or maybe they present a cool story, Superior Spider-Man, or maybe they just give us something that's cool that we can hang on to and reference for the rest of our lives.
And I have to give credit to Mark D. White, who I think said it best about, if you haven't seen the video, go watch that video. It's really good. But he said it best when he was talking about how with Captain America, like when you have any sort of fictional character, your job as a writer is to put them through hell, essentially. You have to torture them. You have to do something that would hurt them. And when you have superheroes, you know, it's one thing to just throw powerful villains at them over and over again, but what's the one thing you can do that would really hurt that character? And with Captain America, it's obviously that big reveal that they did, which I'm sure is not a spoiler if I said it out loud by now, but I'm gonna respect
Just be careful
that anyway.
about it, yeah.
I'm not gonna say it, but no, but I think with the evidence that is the thing that you can do to hurt Captain America the most is the reaction by the fans. They're only validating, like, as much as people are saying, wow, I hate Nick Spencer for doing this, blah, blah, blah. By doing that, you're only validating his credit as a writer for being able to create a story that did impact the character, that did hurt Captain America, at least in your eyes, and possibly in the future, as we get more issues. Again, only one issue is out. More characters will find out, and he'll be impacted by that. It's just, I'm excited. I'm super excited to see where this story goes. Yeah, for sure.
And like, even from just, and if I don't know, people are gonna have different reactions to this, but it's a change to Captain America's character, and I think Nick Spencer was talking about, or no, I think it was Tom Brevoort that was talking about this. How he was saying that. I don't know, somebody was talking about something where basically there's this other layer to his character now that we know, but the characters that are talking to him don't. And I was getting that in the first issue of Civil War II, where he's kind of present and talking to people, where I was like, the back of my head is like, this guy's different now, but they don't know that. Like, this is interesting.
It makes you question, like, anything that he says from now on. Like,
exactly.
Any line, even as innocent as a line like, well, we should go check this out over here. I'm like, oh, what's he got planned? What's he got planned?
What's he doing? It's such an interesting dynamic that, I love it.
It's that dramatic irony of, like, the audience knows something that none of the characters know yet. And it makes reading any comic with Captain America in it just have this additional layer of intrigue. And
it's kind of like it's kind of like giving Captain America a secret identity in an age where secret identities aren't really a thing anymore, which is an interesting thing, because it's just in his solo series, at least, if he reveals whatever he has to reveal to someone, it's going to be a big thing, and we'll have that for a while, at least. Like, I don't know, who knows when it's going to end, who knows if it will end.
Hopefully someday. No, but I don't follow, like, comic book news or comic book movie news that closely, so maybe you can spread some light on this, shed some light rather. I don't know, it's hard to spread light, I would assume. But a lot of people in the chat are talking about Michael Keaton Vulture. Does that mean anything to you?
I heard those two things being connected, but I think that's just a rumor or a fan casting that's popular.
All right.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Vulture being in Homecoming is also still just a rumor. So
it's just like people are assuming.
Like, because I know the first, like, this was a while ago when this movie was announced, as people were, like, news sites were saying, Vulture's the villain. Yep, that's it, 100%. Not a rumor or anything, but I'm pretty sure it's just a rumor that everyone's just accepting, just like Brie Larson as Captain Marvel.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I think Chris was telling me the other day, like, new information came out about what would have been Spider-Man 4, and I think Vulture was going to be in that as well, along with Mysterio.
Mm-hmm.
which is amazing to me because I've been wanting to see Mysterio on the big screen forever.
Yeah.
I know that most people would probably be like, well, he's not really a movie villain. He's just silly and dumb. But I think you could do a really cool Mysterio movie, especially I think especially Marvel Studios could do it. They could take that character and make him something really cool. But I know there's also a lot of talk about Vincent D'Onofrio being potentially in Homecoming as well as
That'd be great.
reprising his role as the Kingpin,
Mm-hmm.
which would
That'd be
be
awesome.
super great because Kingpin originally started out as a Spider-Man villain and then he kind of moved over to Daredevil as they
Yeah.
had a better relationship. So
I
I think
see.
that'd
Sorry. I see people in the comments just saying that Michael Keaton is confirmed for Homecoming, but Vulture isn't.
be okay.
So they're just kind of making that connection, I guess.
I like that.
I don't know. I know somebody was cast earlier today
I think
for Homecoming.
it was because like people were like, "Oh, Michael Keaton, Birdman, Vulture. Oh my God, it
Yeah,
makes
well.
sense.
It's all connected.
He's got the wings." That's. I would assume that's probably what happened.
Problem.
Let's see. Anything on Twitter or nah?
Fictional 4 is asking if there will be a Hulk Guardians of the Galaxy meetup in the MCU.
Probably not.
I mean-
Probably not the way they're doing him with Thor, right?
No, I mean, I'm sure. I don't know if there's going to be a specific scene where they meet, but I'm sure they'll be on screen at the same time in Infinity War at some point.
Yeah.
But
most of the Guardians are just pixels, and Hulk is just
Yeah.
pixels. So
you could like kind of make out Quake in like the bottom right of the screen, maybe. You're not sure if that's her or not.
at this point, I wonder if like technology is advanced to the point where you don't really need to hire the actors if you want to get a big scene together. You have really good 3D models of them, and Infinity Wars is just going to be the biggest computer-generated movie where like no actors are actually there.
Just get some promo material and puppet tool it. No one will notice.
That's right. Just take some
Fine.
still photos on a green screen and puppet tool. That's your
Exactly.
secret weapon.
I feel like this is a question that we could talk about.
Yeah.
Scout again.
Man,
fake
Scout
nerd.
asking some good
It's on
questions.
fire with these good questions.
Yeah.
Will we ever cosplay, and who would we cosplay as?
Yes. Have you ever cosplayed before? I think we should start with that.
I have.
Yes. Okay. Who'd you
Other
go as?
than I know, like the first time I would say I cosplayed as something, even though it was really just my Halloween costume, was last year for Halloween. I cosplayed as Peter Parker from the '60s.
Oh yeah.
So that was I think if you want to see that costume, it's in the which video is it? Oh yeah, why do superheroes wear costumes? It's really
yeah.
it's a good video. It's just the green screen key that I use is real bad. But anyway, that was the first time.
Not
that I
like
would
this
consider-
green screen key. Everyone,
Oh, man.
make me do something. I'm Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, slightly.
know.
There you go. But as far as what I want to cosplay in the future,
Mhm.
I have a Spider-Woman jacket that I want to turn into a full costume. So, not like her old costume because I would
Yeah.
look terrible in that.
Like
But-
the original one that even goes over her hair and everything.
No, not even that. It's too
No.
much. Her new costume because I
Yeah.
have the I forget which company they made a like a replica of her motorcycle jacket that I have. So I want to turn that into a full-fledged cosplay at some point.
Yeah.
So that-
I feel like a lot of comics artists are making costumes, like they're updating costumes to be a little bit more practical, like so that you can get like that's just a jacket, right? Same with Batgirl also had that redesign a couple of years ago or so, where it was just like a leather jacket and boots and like all stuff that you could actually attain in some capacity, which I thought was pretty cool. But yeah, no, I've cosplayed before. Max Scribner in the chat already knows I cosplayed as Coulson a couple of years ago to a Dragon Con. I think it might have been 2013. And it was like the simplest simplest cosplay. I don't have the gun with me, but the gun was the hardest part. I had like the destroyer gun that he had in Avengers, and then I basically just wore a suit for the rest of it. And it was I assumed that nobody would know who I was, but I at least a couple people were like, "Oh, hey, Coulson," and I was like, "Yeah." Especially a couple Lokis obviously would know because the whole scene between them. Yeah, no, it was.
No.
It was pretty great. We have footage of that, I think. And I'm not sure if it's unlisted or if it's still public, but if you go back into the NerdSync archives and search for Dragon Con stuff, we probably have a sizzle reel of some of our experiences. And you'll see me interacting with at least one Loki. So it was pretty fun. But I think I've said this before, my next cosplay that I really want to do is Mr. Knight Moon Knight. And I have my Amazon wish list just ready to go whenever I want to hit checkout. But that's, I don't have anything to wear it to yet, so we'll see.
Get here, because it's con season. Fan Expo was this weekend, so...
Yeah, I know. I had it in my calendar because I thought I was going to be moved in by now. And then...
Yeah. I didn't even know. I went to the comic book store, and the girl at the comic book store was like, "You going to Comic-Con?" And I was like, jeez, it's already June. Stop.
How did this happen?
No.
No. Did you already say, or do you have one that you're... Oh, yeah, you said you're going to do Spider-Woman. That's right.
Yeah, I wanted that's another thing is I've never cosplayed at a con before.
Oh, okay.
So anytime I've gone to a con, I've always just kind of bought things and been bored if I'm not with other people. So
yeah, cons are really better when you're with like a group of friends that you can hang out with. I went to Wizard World, Portland, with the Boss Level 8 guys, and it was super fun hanging out with them the whole time because like the way they do cons is like constant breaks between things. Like they're always at the bar or doing whatever, and it was just, I don't know, it was a blast. Even for a person who doesn't drink, hanging out at a bar was just like a good getting away from the large crowds, which was nice.
And when you and DK came down for Dallas Comic Con, that was super fun too.
Yeah, that was rad. Oh man,
Ricky was. It was a good time.
I wanna comment on your Peter Parker cosplay and say that one of the best cosplays that my friend has ever done was Peter Parker, but it was Spider-Sense Peter Parker. So he bought a Spider-Man mask, cut it in half, and then had like the little lines coming out. It was brilliant.
That's great.
It was brilliant.
That's awesome.
Because it's like, I want to be Spider-Man, but what's the least amount of effort I could put into it? Actually, I feel like doing the little spiky thing.
Cutting it is that's more
pretty,
effort.
all of that is pretty effortful. Is that a word? I'm going to make it one.
Sure.
People are asking about the new Moon Knight series. If I've read that, of course I've read it. I'm not liking it as much as everyone else is.
No.
I know. I'm sorry.
What I thought the first issue was great.
Yeah.
But since then it hasn't been as great, but I'm still loving it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the third issue came out last week, I think. And that was real good.
Sure.
I don't know. I'm having a fun time with it.
Yeah, I feel like the fourth issue is gonna that's when they kind of escaped and now they're in New York. So I think the fourth issue might be a little bit more fun and exciting for me. I don't know. I don't think it's terrible. I just don't think my expectations were like here, and of course you can't set them there because then I'm just gonna be a little more disappointed. I don't know. I thought the last Moon Knight run was so good that I expected more of that. We got something a little different. And different doesn't mean bad. It's just, I don't know. I need to read more of it.
I feel like you also might have different expectations and different, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. You have different views on Moon Knight because he's one of your favorites. So, and I love Moon Knight too, but I've also the only Moon Knight stuff I've ever read is that Warren Ellis run. So that's all I have to go off of. So I don't know much about him.
Sure. There's a 12-issue run. I can't remember by who, but it was, I think, in 2010? I think
it's Bendis.
Bendis?
I think so.
It's one of my favorite Moon Knight stories ever. If I can think of it, I'll post it on Twitter later today. But it's real good. It's on Marvel Unlimited if you have that and you want to read it. It's like 12 issues. I used a lot from that run in the Moon Knight video that we did like a month or so ago. So definitely check that out if you're interested in some Moon Knight. I would still recommend Warren Ellis's run first to anybody who just wants an introduction to the character. because it's super good, super fun, easy read. But I'd probably do that second. Oh, there's a cat, and there's a cat on screen.
Okay, you can go back to sleeping. I'm sorry, Wanda. Okay, I have a question on Twitter.
Sure.
That is a neat question. It's from Rodrigo again.
Okay.
Which is your favorite kind of episode? Like philosophical or scientific or
Ooh, that's a good question.
what else? Yeah. What's your favorite type to do?
Man, lately I've been really loving the philosophy stuff, and I'm terrible at it. Like, it's hard for me to wrap my mind around it. So I'm so lucky that I have people like friends like Ollie from Philosophy Tube, who's helped out with a lot of videos, and he's actually we're gonna be collabing together on an X-Men video soon, and like the philosophy behind the X-Men, and that's gonna be a ton of fun to do as well. And I feel like he sent me a list, like just like a bullet point. He was like, I have some thoughts. And I received this Google Doc that's like 2 or 3 pages of just constant paragraphs of like thoughts on the X-Men. And I was like, do you just want to do this video? You obviously have a better handle on it than I do. No, but he's been super helpful in the past with like the Should Batman Kill Joker video. He helped with that one to make sure that I was explaining everything correctly. I still messed a couple things up that I could have done clearer, but he was also like, I didn't know this at the time, but he was like at a convention, like on vacation somewhere when I was asking him to do this, and now I feel really bad to be like, hey, interrupt the fun that you're having to help me research this video. But no, I like doing the philosophy stuff, I think, because that's like some of the highest level thinking. Like, it's just interesting that you can take comic books, something that people see as like, you still have the stigma about like, oh, comic books aren't serious literature. They're not actual, books. You can't learn anything from them. And I just want to take all of this interesting philosophy that's in them, from Civil War, from Should Batman Kill Joker, from Does Great Power Mean Great Responsibility, and now Civil War 2 coming out, and X-Men, all this stuff, and just show people like you can have really in-depth, interesting conversations that make you question what you believe about the world through the medium of comics, and that's probably why I like those the most.
Yeah, those are some of my favorite to watch and to edit, just because I don't know. I mean, especially with like the philosophy ones and like all the ones that are more kind of out there and not based on specific comic stories are more fun for me to edit, because I get to do like animations and stuff, and we get to have some more new stuff to throw in there. But
I think the science one lend themselves well to animation stuff as well. We haven't done a science one in a while, and that's just because those usually take the most time for me to research.
Yeah.
But like I'm thinking back to the Bloodshot video we did at the beginning of the year, which is still great. It's an underviewed video. If you haven't seen that Bloodshot video, out of all the other things we've recommended, go check that one out above everything else. I think that's a solid video. And you did a bunch of great animation in that one as well. Like, you had mice just exploding randomly, which was a lot of fun.
I forgot about that. Is that no, that's I was thinking of the one that I did a lizard climbing on a wall. That was for the Spider-Man one, right?
Yeah, that was for Spider-Man. That was pretty good, too. Yeah, that was the other science one that we did. I think we only may have done, like, those 2 science videos this year so far. Got to get back on that.
I want to give a shout out to DK for the trolley episode.
Yes.
That was crazy good.
Holy cow. So, yeah, the follow-up video to the Should Batman Kill Joker was Should Batman Fight Superman, or whatever we ended up naming it. And, yeah, DK took that one, and I think all of us worked together really hard on it.
That was a big team effort.
It was a collaborative project. He
kind
started
of the director
it off.
behind that.
Yeah, he started off. He laid the groundwork, and then essentially we all got on a big Skype call, kind of like this, but with DK as well. And he was basically like giving us tasks to do, like, hey Scott, can you cut this? Because we all have different things that we like to do, right? So like, you love to do animations and keyframe stuff. I love to go into Photoshop and work in Photoshop. DK likes to do just like your good, like I almost call it like standard editing, but that makes it sound like it's lesser like quality. I don't want that sort of connotation. I just mean like he likes to. I don't know how the best to describe it. How would you describe what he likes to do? He loves doing the rough cuts and. Basically, he loves to assemble everything together. I think that's probably the best way to put it. Like he likes to
Captain America in this equation.
Exactly. He assembles it all and makes it something beautiful. And so that video that we did was just all of us on a big Skype call for hours and just talking and working, and it just came together beautifully, and I thought it was one of the best. Do you like? So you said you like the philosophy ones to edit, but is there like a specific one that you like to watch the most?
I think probably the philosophy ones.
Yeah.
More of the kind of out there ones are fun for me. I mean, a lot of the time, especially when I'm editing, some of the stuff will, if it's philosophy stuff, it'll just go over my head, and I won't really fully pay attention until I watch the video after it's out.
Mm-hmm.
But
well, you also have the job of like you're the person who's putting it all together essentially on those videos. So normally what happens is I'll think of like a good animation to help visualize to demonstrate the point, and then it's like your job to make sure that it works the way that actually like helps kind of tell the story and make things a little bit more clear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
yeah,
I think
from a writing standpoint, or from like the creator side of me, I like the philosophy ones as well, because I've only done like one philosophy episode in season 2, and that was the Superman one that I did with Comic Drake, and that for me was super fun to research because it was the kind of the first time that I've gone deep into philosophy and just talked about Superman, a character that I don't really like all that much, but talking about him in a philosophical sense made him more interesting to me.
Yeah, I think you were talking about like the ones about lore that are just like, how did Professor X end up in a wheelchair, or like how did Aquaman get a hook hand? I throw those in there because like those are just that's basically how comic misconceptions got started, was answering questions like that. And so I want to keep those around. And also I throw them in there because generally there are some of the more easier videos to research because it's just reading comics and like kind of assembling, like writing it out, like what happened where. But more often than not, they end up being some of the hardest to research because you have to go through so much comic book lore and understand all of like, okay, so Aquaman had a hook hand, and then he had like a different harpoon, then he had like a water hand, and then like it got healed and then cut off again. What? And then okay, now it's back. I don't know what's happening, and you have to try to figure all that out. That spans like decades of from when it started to how it is now, and it's just the Professor X one stands out in my mind as a video that I wrote in as this will be a simple video to do. And it ended up being a very complicated video to do. So, I don't know. But I still like doing those, and I think people like them too, because those usually get some of our higher viewed videos, because those are things that people are actually searching for, as opposed to, like, I don't know, general philosophy videos about comic books.
Yeah. And those are... I hate to keep talking about my channel, but...
Please do.
It's just stuff that I can relate to, because
of course.
The most recent one that I did on Jean Grey was kind of a melding of the two things, because I talked about the Phoenix Saga and kind of, not really philosophy or anything, but more kind of out there stuff of trying her in a court. And I think those are kind of the happy medium between that, where you do get to... And I think we kind of did this with the most recent Moon Knight video, where we did tell his origin and some of the stories in that, but we melded it with the criminal justice system stuff and all that.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of like the structure that I like to do with a lot of videos, is talk about the comics first, hook people in with the comics, and then kind of trick them into staying for like learning stuff, right? That's kind of that's kind of what happens. And thankfully, it's worked out pretty well. We got 300,000 subscribers. That's not nothing, right? So,
It's no big deal.
what do you have? What, less than 10,000? That's cute.
How dare you?
Just kidding.
Fight me.
Oh no. Somebody asked. I missed it again. I keep scrolling accidentally, and then YouTube just jumps to the very bottom. Somebody asked, like, how did Professor X become bald? And that's a video that I really wanted to do, but I would have to rearrange the schedule again because I want it to be now that the X-Men movie's out. But it's like we already did all those X-Men videos. Well, we'll do it sometime in the future. It's definitely on the list. It's not as exciting as like how the Lex Luthor, how like the video about how Lex Luthor was bald. That one is super intricate and really interesting to me. But
I remember that one.
yeah, Professor X, and it's not that interesting.
Somebody has asked a couple times, I don't know the answer to this, you might, why when the Flash is going real fast, as he does, if he touches bullets, why don't they hurt him? Which I feel like, do you know the answer to that?
Well,
I feel like he just moves them, right?
Say that again?
I feel like he just moves the bullets, right?
Yeah.
So that they don't hit him?
Well, I think what they're asking is like, all right, so if he, like, think of Quicksilver in the X-Men movies, where he can just like move the bullets or like touch them or whatever. But I think what they're asking is like, how can they do that without being hurt? Because the bullets are still flying, the bullets are still traveling, and they have mass behind them, and I would say it's probably like the comic book explanation. I don't know how real this is in real life. Is just simply because he is fast and is able to, and so by his own perception, by his own subjectivity, by the Speed Force, everything is slowed down to him. I do feel like they should be harder to move out of the way than just like a little, because they still have some force behind them. But I don't know.
I was watching Apocalypse. That was a thought that was crossing my mind so many times. Is Quicksilver is too powerful. Mm-hmm. He's just like, no, if he's doing all this stuff in like a fraction of a second, he's too strong. Mm-hmm. That's my problem with fast characters. Is a lot of the time it just boils down to
broken.
I don't know, man. You gotta go faster.
I tweeted about that like a while ago. Like every problem in the Flash is like it can be solved by Barry going, I gotta go faster, guys. I gotta go faster. Like they were trapped in Earth 2, and like he couldn't vibrate out of his cell because he didn't know the right frequency. And so I thought, oh, okay. So now he has to like do something with his powers to learn the frequency of that Earth. And he's like, no, all I need to do is go faster. Like, oh, okay, sure, faster. Bud, sure thing. You're not gonna like try to. So I guess that kind of lines up now that I'm thinking about it, because they do later say that they vibrate, like Earth 2 vibrates at a higher frequency. But that wasn't him figuring that out. That was him just going, well, I guess I'll go faster and see what happens. And yeah, I guess thankfully it worked out for him. But yeah, no, I agree. I feel like fast characters are usually, they don't really need many partners or a team to help them out. They're pretty good on their own. Yeah. Whole Justice League of Flashes, it's pretty good. You're set. You're set.
Exactly, you're pretty much set. Like, I remember, I forget who I was having this argument with, but this is really out there, but if you've ever seen the first, like, CG trailer for DC Universe Online, there's a part in it where, like, Joker or someone is hitting a button to, like, blow up a city or something, and the Flash is running after him to stop him to hit the button, but he's not fast enough.
Well, he should have gone faster.
Exactly. Yeah. But he's the Flash. He's the fastest thing ever. How can Joker click a button faster than Flash can run if he can reverse the Earth's rotation?
No, there was a comic that my friend who's a huge Flash fan, was telling me this a couple of years ago, and I haven't validated it, so anyone who is a Flash fan in the chat, let me know if this is a real thing that happened. There was apparently a comic book where Flash did a race, as you do when you're a fast character, between, like, I don't even know if it was an official race. It was just like he had to travel faster than instantaneous travel. Like some sort of beings had the ability to instantly transport from one location to the other, and he had to travel faster than that. And not only did he travel faster than instantaneous travel, he also had time to spare to like do stuff. I think the story he told me was like he had time to spare to run across all to like find every radio on Earth and like tune it to a very specific signal in order to defeat the people. I don't know. It was like I said, I haven't validated that story, but that sounds like a Flash story that would happen where it's like, hey, you know this thing? You know how there's nothing faster than instantaneous? Flash is faster than that.
Okay.
Yeah, people are saying it did happen in the comics. Oh
yeah,
boy.
Okay.
Well done, Flash. Let's see. Anything else? I don't know how much longer we want to go with this. We've already been doing it for over an hour.
I've got one question that I've been saving for the end if we want to finish it off.
We might do that just now. Maybe. Let me look through the chat and see if I can find anything else. People are asking a lot of music questions. Because of musical stuff.
People keep asking me about Dark Souls, and I don't know why.
I can't imagine why they're asking you about Dark Souls.
I haven't tweeted or talked about Dark Souls in like 2 months.
Fair enough.
It's fine.
All right. You know what? We can probably go ahead and end it with this last question, and then I'll probably do like a little thing at the end to thank everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Dave on Twitter asks, Dave, the guy who helps out with NerdSync comments.
Yeah. Dave J.
Asks, he says it's a big, far-reaching one. What are plans for the channel in the next year, and are there any big reveals in the works?
Okay, yeah. So I have, in terms of big reveals, like I think they're talking about like new show ideas. I assume that's where my mind went. I have a bunch of new show ideas that I really, really want to do. None that I'm going to say out loud because I don't want to like make a promise that they're going to happen and then they never happen. And secondly, I don't want to say them out loud, never do them, and then somebody else, I guess. Well, I don't know. I feel like it's fine. I have mixed feelings about this, and this is like in a side tangent type of thing. But like, you're a content creator. If you had a great idea, but you knew that there was no way in your schedule that you'd be able to do it, would you be fine with like just saying like, hey, here's a great idea for a show. Somebody make this.
It depends. If it's something that I really feel attached to, I'd probably make room for it and like sacrifice something else. Like I mean, I just did that with Retcon, which is coming out soon. I'm sorry. But it's because I was gonna do every Wednesday there'd be either a retcon or a show with issues, but I realized that with editing and that plane that I wouldn't have time for everything. So instead of doing 2 show with issues a month and 2 retcon a month, I would just do 1 show with issues a month and 1 retcon a month.
Sure.
So I made room for it instead of doing. But if it's something like I was trying to think of like some random idea off the top of my head, but if it's some just idea like make a show about movies where you cosplay as the character in the movie, it'd be like, yeah, somebody else do that. I don't care.
But if it's like, because I like to think that NerdSync has a very specific feel to it, where it's like when I think of a show that I know is gonna work, I'm like, man, I feel like only we could maybe like do this, like us or maybe like 1 or 2 other people. But like, I don't know. It's something where I want to make a bunch of shows, and I have names for them. I have logos for a couple of them ready to go. But I don't know. At the end of the day, it's like I'm already struggling trying to get Friday videos up, trying to get tie-ins and super suits and alter egos, all of those put together. And I feel like I need to make sure that those are on a good schedule first, and those are taken care of before I think about doing other shows. But I mean, I've had chats with other friends, because like a big part of like NerdSync, and you're starting to see this more and more, it's like bringing other people on to host shows without me in them at all, because this is not Scott's channel. This is NerdSync, where everybody comes together and talks about comics and things. And yeah, like I have I've had like friends like say, hey, how about this show? And I'm like, great, do it. But then it never happens. I've had ideas myself where I'm like, hey, I have this idea that I want to give to you because I feel like you could do very well. And then like their schedule doesn't allow for it as well. So I don't know. It's just challenging right now trying to balance everything. But I mean, hopefully we'll have some new show. Last year we launched, did we launch tie-ins as well last year? I think we did. And then
I wasn't around for that.
You weren't.
I don't know.
I think it was tie-ins, Super Suits, and Alter Ego were all launched that same year last year. So that's 3 new shows. And I have at least like two more in my head that I really want to do. Maybe we'll come up with a way to do it. I don't know. We also launched Tales from the Comments as well. That's 4.
Yeah.
So.
And I've got ideas too that could either go on NerdSync or my channel. So I don't know. It's and I'm honestly I'm very glad to see from like the comments on Ricky's video that went up on Friday. Yeah, that everyone seems to be a lot more open-minded to the idea of people other than you.
Yeah,
like hosting.
I think it may have been Joel was one of the first people to like ever post a video that wasn't me on the channel. Like after we kind of took off, there were other shows without me, like way back in the day. And so Joel did his Super Suits, and even still, 10 episodes in, people are like, "Where's Scott?" It's like,
I mean,
guys.
I still saw some of that on Ricky's video, but it was definitely outweighed by the stuff. It's like, oh, Ricky, he's great, I love him. It's like, oh yes, we're winning.
Ricky took a screenshot of the comments because I was like, Ricky, I don't know if you've seen the comments on that video that we put up on the channel, but you have charmed everybody. People want more of you, and he took a screenshot, and it was one of the funniest things because it was the most mixed grab bag of comments you can get from like people saying, people saying like, man, this is great, I love Ricky, to someone saying, man, this guy sounds like some sort of, what was it, like a giraffe of some kind? I don't know.
I don't know if we can say it on stream, but it involved a giraffe.
Yeah, okay. So it was...
I'm reading it now. It's great.
Yeah, and then there were even other comments that were like, I don't know. The whole thread that he took a screenshot of was brilliant. And he was like, I think I'm going to have this framed, which is great. No, but yeah, look, here's the thing. And like I said, we're getting used to it. We're showing more and more of this as we go on. But like, you're not going to see necessarily less of this face, but you're going to see more of other faces that aren't this face. And that's a good thing. That's the goal. That was always the plan from the very beginning. Like, if you go back and watch, a lot of it's unlisted right now, so you probably can't watch it. But if you go back and watch, if you went back in time, rather, and saw the original stuff that we were posting, you will see that there's a lot of it that's not me. It just so happened that I was the one person who kind of was able to continue doing videos. We had, like, a whole team of, like, 6 or 7 people posting videos, every week. And it just turned into Comic Misconceptions, the channel, because that was the only show. That was one of 2 shows that took off. The other show, my friend Josh was behind it, and he just got really busy, so he couldn't do it. But, like, yeah, that was, like I'm saying, that was always the goal from the very beginning. It's not Scott's channel. It's NerdSync. So.
Yeah.
I don't know if that answered the question at all, but...
Do we want to tease any upcoming stuff that's on Trello or anything?
Yeah, upcoming videos? Sure. I don't have it in front of me right now, but I can try to pull it up. Yeah, here's a little teaser for you guys, some future Comic Misconceptions. Again, as you've learned, all of this stuff is subject to change. Some of these videos we might not do at all in the next coming weeks. This Wednesday, we've got a video not by me, but by Owen from Owen Likes Comics. That I did help write. He did most of it, but I just kind of went in and fleshed it out and worked it out. That's another thing I should say, is normally with any videos that don't have me in it, more than likely I helped with the script and even a little bit of the research. So I made a tweet about this before. I'm just referencing my Twitter. That's right there. I made a tweet that was like, if you're looking for me in a video without me, then it's usually I'm in the script. I'm in the words in some capacity, even if it's just adding a lame pun in here or there, or just restructuring it so it tells a better
I feel
narrative.
like I feel like that was most of your contribution to the last video that Ricky did.
Yep.
Were the puns?
I just did puns. I did puns, and I added a little bit more more stuff to like flesh it out into a full narrative. But Ricky did most of the work. But yeah, we have a video by Owen about Superman, and we don't have a title for it yet, but it's about Superman and socialism and the American dream. Basically, he stands for truth, justice, and the American way. What is the American way? It's really good, super interesting. Look forward to that. He sent it over today. I don't know if you had a chance to watch it. I never sent it to you, but it's on the drive if you want to take a look at it. I haven't seen it either, but I assume it's good. And it's up before schedule, which never happens.
Nope. Good job, Owen.
I said earlier we were going to do a Ninja Turtles video that may potentially have Ricky back on as well. I don't know. I'm still in the process of writing it, but I was doing a lot of research the other day by watching a lot of Ninja Turtles cartoons. So that's going to be... Should I go into more detail about what that one's specifically about? I don't know. It's about Krang. So lots of stuff about Krang. So look forward to that. I'll tease
I'm really excited
more.
For that next one.
Yeah, I know you're really excited for the next one. Tell everyone who the next one's about.
It's about Silk. And the thumbnail is gorgeous, and everything is great. I love it.
I take a lot of pride in my thumbnails. I think this one looks really, really fun and pretty. All right, so Silk, if you don't know this character, is a very 90s comic book character. Not like she was created in the 90s. She was created very recently. But the way that her origin is, like she was kind of kept away from society, like for... how long? I don't know how long, but
15
for a while.
years.
15 years. So
yeah.
A lot of her references that she makes are all 90s references. Like she talks about Pokemon a lot. She doesn't really know how to use technology all too well. So it's pretty
Jameson calls her analog.
Yep.
And it's real cute. I love their relationship.
That's right.
It's great.
It's so good. So yeah, we're doing some of that. Then I have the X-Men video that I'm doing with Ollie, which I made a thumbnail for it, but I don't really know what it's about yet because he sent me that huge list of topics. So we'll probably limit it down, but I guarantee you that's going to be a good one. It's going to be one of the more higher thinking episodes for sure. I don't know, might be controversial. Should we? I don't know how many more I want to do. I've planned out all the way through November. I'm not going to read all of them, but.
Yeah, I feel like that's enough.
That's probably enough for now. We have a video. Oops, I messed around the screen a little bit. We have a video on Friday that's going to be something different that we've never done before. But technically, it's been in the works for months.
I feel like it's too much hype for it.
Yeah, no, that's way too much hype.
You're going to be really let down.
It's just going to be, hopefully it'll be something fun and silly and dumb. So, there you go. That's a little teaser for some videos we got coming up. Something I don't plug as often is the podcast, guys. If you are not listening to the NerdSync podcast, go do that. It's on iTunes and SoundCloud and Stitcher and wherever else RSS feeds go when they're not live streaming. And you can, we talk about all sorts of stuff there. We have a new one out today, actually, about video game movies and how they, the question of whether or not a video game or a comic book is difficult or even impossible to adapt into a movie, at least into a good movie. So lots of good conversations there as well. And I guess the last thing I'll say, we're plugging way too many things. YouTube tells me not to do that because people get overwhelmed, but I'm going to do it anyway. And say, if you like what we do here at NerdSync, your subscription is already wonderful, and we love you for it, and thanks so much for doing that. Thank you so much for 300,000 subscribers, and all the amazing comments that you guys give, and just engaging and sharing our videos. It's wonderful. And if you want to take it a step further, you don't have to, obviously, but if you want to, you can go support us directly on Patreon, patreon.com/NerdSync, where you can get some cool rewards, like a comic book club every month, which we actually didn't do last month because I was busy, but we'll do some more of those. A lot of us just get together and talk about a comic book that we read or even movie that we saw. There's a lot of comic book movies coming out, obviously, this year. So it's super fun. It's really great. Always fun to hang out with those people. So yeah, that's probably everything that I have to say. Dylan, do you have anything to plug?
I don't want to. This is NerdSync. I don't want to plug any of my stuff. I do want to say that everyone who's, I haven't, from the few times that I've been on the channel and since I've been editing, any support that I've gotten has been wonderful, and I appreciate it, and I'm really, really proud of us for hitting this milestone and everything that we've done. So just my one thing to ask is keep an open mind on certain things that we do going forward, whatever that may be. I'm not saying that anything's going to change, but whatever we do, if we release another parody video, or if we start a new channel, or if we do whatever, just if we do, like even last Comic Misconceptions, where we did the audio interview sections, everyone seemed fine with that. So I'm just that's all I want.
Yeah, we're going to be trying
new stuff.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to be trying new stuff, experimenting a little bit more. I want to do more of those audio interviews with anybody, any sort of experts, because I think that helps me out, because then I can just say, hey, don't believe me. I'm a college dropout. I don't know what I'm talking about. Here's an expert who actually, like with Mark D. White, who literally wrote the book on the virtues of Captain America and the philosophy of Civil War, all of that stuff. And I want to do more of that. And I think I have a lot of great video ideas about that I could easily reach out to some experts in that field for help. And so if you like that sort of stuff, then yeah, we'll be seeing more of it. We like to we don't want to be in like a rut of any kind. We like to keep experimenting and trying new things. So I think that's probably going to be it for the live stream, though. Thank you guys so much for joining, all the amazing comments in the chat. And again, thank you so much for 300,000 subscribers. All of you, I love you. You're wonderful nerds. And we'll see you guys next time. We'll probably do more of these live streams for sure. We'll see you on Wednesday for Owen's video about Superman. Stay tuned for that. And if you're new here and this is your first video, then hey, why not subscribe? I don't know. You know what to do. You
look pretty.
You look pretty. You look good today. All of you guys out there. Don't change a thing. You look great. With that in mind, we'll see you guys next time.